like literally just before the last round, or the second to last round. Oh, big damage. Nope. No conversion off of that counter hit, or big hit, I mean. Good anti-air there from Arahshii. This is it. Arahshii takes the game, takes the tournament, takes the match. Arahshii very pleased with himself.
Get ready to die.
All right.
Oh, kia ora, kia ora.
Hey, kia ora,
Hey.
bro. How's it going?
Good, man. Ko Drax tuku ingo, ko Napui tuku iwi, ko taku hoa tēnei, he tino koa ahau. Kia korero tātou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Yeah, just a little Maori. Yeah, well, because I know you're into your Maori culture. Yeah, how much Maori? How much Maori is in you, man?
Oh, bro, like, the Māori side is from my nana's mum. She's like full Māori, and then so it's kind of like, I don't know, what would you say? It kind of trickles down from there. For me, it's kind of like, you know, I grew up Māori. Like, I spent a lot of time out at the marae and with my cousins, and you know, doing all that kind of stuff. In terms of like speaking te reo and things like that, I'm still kind of getting there. Not incredibly solid.
No,
but yeah, it's the culture is the main thing, and just like it is really important to me.
Yeah, that's how we know you, man. It's the
work on it, right? Yeah,
it's the Maoriness. It's the iconic Rasta beanie. Yeah, actually, I should let you introduce yourself, man.
No, solid, all good. So yeah, I guess for anybody that's watching, yeah, kia ora. My real name is Dean, but most people know me in the scene as Arahshii. I kind of, at the moment, I'm going by, like, as part of my actual tag is HG Arahshii, just because it was kind of like I got picked up by a sponsor now, so I'm with Expansion New Zealand. Just kind of working with them as a player and as a tournament organizer, and so the HG side of things has just kind of gone into my persona. So HG is my team from H-Town, so that's of course myself, Reno, NZ Māori Boy, Rich, Chalice, Cam, Thomas. I know I could say everybody, but it's a solid team.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Definitely the homeboys. Hey, just
course.
Where did you get your iconic Rasta beanie? Whenever I imagine you, I think a lot of people know. Yeah, kia ora, whānau, and the Rasta beanie.
Yeah, of course. I've had this beanie since I was year 11 at school, and one day I was just going through this phase where it's like, you know, I wanted to have everything Rasta. I wanted to have, you know, anything like this. I bought these like sunglasses that were Rasta as well, and I got the beanie at the same time. So this was 2013, and I've just kept the beanie with me and just rocked it ever since. It's normally I'll wear it because I used to have really, really long hair, and I would use it to just pin my hair down. As you can see at the moment, I'm still kind of doing that, but my hair's a bit shorter. So I don't look like a complete mess all the time. But yeah, so I just kind of kept with it, you know, kept with the jar vibes.
Yeah,
you know,
man. Less work, man. You can just go anywhere you want and not worry about the hairdo, eh?
Of course, bro. It's like, it was so high maintenance back in the day. I'm like in a position where I feel like I'm going to grow it out again, but I'm probably just going to end up shaving it all back off and restarting over and over.
No, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tell us a bit about your story, how you got into fighting games, how you got into competitive fighting games.
Cool, yeah. I mean, growing up, I've been playing video games for a long time, like since I was only a baby, actually. My first game was Crash Bandicoot, so I didn't start directly on fighting games. But it was something where it was like, I go and play with my older cousins on like the PlayStation, and there's Tekken 3. That was my first fighting game, Tekken 3. And it was just like, go into the character select screen, you pick Eddie Gordo, you push all the kicks, you try to smash your cousin up, and then it's just like, you know, whoever comes out the winner, there's no winnings in it, but that's just the mana and the pride that comes with that. But ever since I was a little kid, it was just something that I was really interested in. I didn't even know what it kind of was. Not to sound like the most violent person on the planet, but it was just like getting to beat somebody else up on the screen was just so much fun for some reason. But I just kind of kept going with that. So Tekken, I played forever, basically. I was extremely hype about any new Tekken game that came out. Tekken 6, when that came out, I got it day one. Tekken 5, I played pretty much non-stop on PS2. There was one time I remember, this is where like the not really the competitive side of things, but it was just kind of like a moment that I can remember from my childhood where I was 7 years old playing Tekken 5 on PS2 with a friend that I had over in Australia. And I picked Devil Jin and I just spammed the lasers where you fly up in the air and just shoot the lasers down. And then my mate like was just so salty and started like punching my arm and stuff. And I was like,
that feeling, eh? You like
I was just cracking up laughing. But yeah, so it's just been Tekken non-stop basically. And then of course I kept playing and playing. When I got to high school, me and my mates, we had 2 PSPs and we just play against each other on the bus, that kind of stuff. But of course I never broke out into the competitive scene until 2017. I did play a little bit of Tekken Tag 2 back when that was out on PS3 and on Xbox 360. I used to be a really big like achievement hunter back then, so I wasn't really playing it for the like actually getting good at the game, just to try and smash all those little trophies and things out as fast as I could.
Yeah.
But I did play actually a little bit with Lionheart, Nina Anna player from
Yeah.
So that was probably the first kind of person that I played against online, and I was like, holy heck, this guy's good as. And I like, of course, thought I was decent at that time, but all I really did was pick Hwoarang and do like back 3 into like jab, 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 or something like that. And I was like, you know, I'm the combo master, you know? Yeah. And then, yeah, so when it came to 2017, I had moved from Taranaki up to Hamilton at that time. So I started uni 2016, but I was working every weekend at Countdown.
Yeah.
Checkout operator.
You were working at a bank for a short period, weren't you?
I was, yeah. So I worked at BNZ as a customer solutions advisor is what I was called, but it was just kind of like I answered the phones, dealt with people's bank accounts, helped them solve any issues that they had with their banking, basically. That was, of course, end of 2018 till the middle of last year. But yeah, before I got into the tournament side of things, I was working at Countdown as a checkout operator, which was lots of fun. Meeting very interesting people and doing very interesting things. But yeah, it came to a point where in 2017 I scored a new job working for the University of Waikato, where I was a kind of student ambassador, where I went out to high schools and just spoke to students and helped them pick their future career path, where I had my weekends free, and it was like, okay, I don't have to go to work on Saturdays anymore. There's this tournament that I've been seeing on Facebook for a little bit, and I'm like, I want to go. And the very first time I went, Reno posted up on Facebook at the same time saying, hey, can somebody from Hillcrest drive me over to Hambats? I'll give you like petrol money or something. And I was like, yo, let's go.
Really? That's how you two got together?
Yeah, that was it. And he thought that I'd been going to tournaments for a long time, but no, that was the very first time that I went. And that was when our friendship began. It was just, I gave him a ride over. I didn't even care about the petrol money. It was just, come with me. I'd never been to this stuff before. I got absolutely slapped by everybody in all the games. So my pride was shaken at the time.
Man.
But yeah, I just kept on going because I love fighting games, and even if I was losing, it was just it was so much fun just getting to play these games against people and just talk kaka to each other and just have a good time, and then that's just kept on going today.
Yeah, you're definitely one of the pride aspects of the Hamilton scene. You've really nurtured that scene and grown it into what it is today. For you, what's been some of the challenges growing the Hamilton scene?
Okay, yeah. Of course, I got to hand it back, obviously, to my ancestors before me with, Dan from Tane, and even people before that, like Kurt, Stereo Monkey, and there's another guy, I think his name was Ian, but I can't remember what his tag was. But that's the people that have started the scene up. So back, obviously, when Hambats began, it was kind of a smaller scene, and obviously I speak with Dan a lot because I used to work with him and competed with him in tournaments and all that kind of stuff. And it was just a space where people who like these kind of games, or even just people from the community that wanted to have something to do rather than going out onto the streets and doing stupid stuff, had a space where they can come and just play games. And so I've kept that same kind of mana going. So it was like, if there were people out there that just want to have a jam, or if there's like people around the community center and they're like, oh, what's this? It's like, yeah, just come on in and have a jam. And the scene has actually kept going from that kind of stuff, just trying our best to get people into this kind of stuff and show them that, if you like playing games competitively, or if you just like games, just, come and hang out with us and have a good time. I think in terms of challenges for growing the scene, it sounds kind of stink, but I don't think Hamilton always gets the respect that it deserves. Some people kind of think that Hamilton can be a little bit free sometimes, which I completely disagree with. And I think if people come to Hambats more, they'll see that there's a lot of really, strong competitors here. But just the fact that we don't have the prestige that, like, say, Auckland or something like that does, it makes it a little bit trickier to get people to come through.
Yeah.
But we do get people from Auckland coming down and always having a good time. We've also had players from Rotorua come through, which has been awesome. I love hanging out with people from that scene as well. And I think, what would another challenge be? Just the fact that we don't get to run events incredibly often. If I could, I'd probably run an event every weekend, but I'm pretty busy nowadays.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think you guys really proved your worth when you hosted War, the first War, and the expectations, I wouldn't say they were low, but a lot of us were very surprised at what it delivered. Like, it was a really good event. The first War was great. Yeah. What was...
Oh, dude. Yeah, just the first War was amazing. Of course, Dan and his whānau and just all the people that have helped out with War, and people from our scene that have just come through and supported the events. That's what made it into the thing that it was, and it was such a good time. I just remember Dan telling me that the burger place inside Sky City, the Eat Burger,
oh yes,
had its best business weekend on record or something at that point in time, because we were all of us gamers going through and having a fat feed.
Yeah.
But it was just, I think it's the fact that we have that kind of, homegrown whānau vibe, and we keep going with that, is one of the things that makes us kind of unique and makes it a little bit more enjoyable for people, because it seems like the pressure is kind of off in a way.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Sometimes.
You make Hambats very special, you and your group, because you do something that not a lot of us do at our Hambats is, you buy like dinner sometimes, like you buy fish and chips or pizza. I think the first time I witnessed it, I thought, wait a minute, like, wait, someone's paid for this? I was like, what, this it's just so, I mean, you don't expect to get fed at these kind of things, but as you said, you really emphasize whānau, and I think it's really cool how you do that for your scene.
Oh, for sure, bro. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. It's kind of like, the competition is there, of course, but just being able to have people come through and feel welcome and feel like, hey, this is something that I enjoy, and people enjoy having me here. That's the kind of the key, I reckon.
Yeah.
And yeah, about the, like, buying the food and stuff. Of course, it's kind of like something where if I had more money, I would do that every time. But we normally just do stuff like buy the scene for the scene, basically. We're hoping to eventually get like more setups and things like that, and go from there. Of course, Hambats has never really had prize money or anything like that. A couple of times I've given away some stuff as prizes, just to make it a little bit more of an incentive for people to compete.
Yeah.
But yeah, any kind of proceeds and stuff that we get is always going straight back into the scene. And I guess in recent times, it's mostly been helping us, fund stuff like War.
Yeah.
But in the future, whether it's because we get more and more people coming through, or just because we have enough in the bank account that we can, splurge a little bit, we'll just be making our events bigger and better.
Yeah. I mean, and you also get the odd, like you said, the odd players coming from Auckland, but even overseas. Like, I think you've even had like an American guy who plays Tekken over there at one point. And you got some funny characters there. Like Majin Bing, fucking love that guy. He's cool.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, you mean Majin Buu, right?
Majin Buu. Sorry, Majin. Yeah. Majin Bing's the Australian guy. Sorry.
Oh, bro. Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. No, the first guy you're talking about, Sisu. He's from Atlanta, so he plays with like pork chop and stuff. Sometimes. So it's really cool to have him coming through and playing with us. But he was over here because his wife was doing his now wife. They got married now, so congrats to Sisu.
Nice.
She was doing her like exchange over here.
Oh, right,
for a year.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
see,
so
okay.
so they moved back to the US end of last year, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty sad.
I mean, I swear, bro. Like the Hamilton scene, it's grown so much. Like the players, even the overlays. It took so long for Hamilton, like for Hambats to get overlays, bro. Because because I'd remember watching like matches and stuff, but because there's no overlays, you've got no idea who's playing, and so I'm trying to guess who's playing this character, and it's Street Fighter, who could be playing these two characters? Like, in those early days, man. Like you were carrying that scene, like you were carrying that scene, every game in that scene.
Dude, I just like it's not even me as well. It's like when it came to the overlays and things, we had Aaron Boozbender, who I don't think he's even in Hamilton anymore. I haven't seen him in a long time, but he was the guy who was actually running our stream for the last couple of years. So you notice obviously that Hambats this year hasn't really had very many streams because Aaron's kind of not with us. Like I was able to run a stream the last Hambats that we had, and I mean, you can see who the names, like you can see who's playing now, but that's kind of it.
No, but that's it's a step up, you know. And now I mean you stream now too, so now you're applying that skill into your TOing. Are you enjoying streaming other titles outside of fighting games? Yeah.
Nah, like I've always wanted to stream. I never really had like a good kind of computer that I could do it off. So you notice that sometimes when I was streaming in the past, I would just use the built-in PS4 streaming thing, which kind of sucks. So having my own computer and being able to stream from this is awesome. And even just getting people to come through and just see other stuff that I play, because I don't just play fighting games. I kind of play a bit of everything.
Yeah.
It's normally really good, and even if I don't get many people coming through and watching at any given time, it's just cool to have people like support what I'm doing and just talk to me. I guess I like having a social life.
What's been the best game you've streamed to this point?
Best game that I have streamed. I mean, in terms of like viewership, Tekken has been great. I normally get quite a few people coming through and watching that. I guess in terms of other stuff that I've streamed, because I haven't really been doing that consistently, like until recently, I guess. I was streaming Ghost of Tsushima recently, which is an awesome game.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you can get that, I highly recommend it. And I think it's just been kind of me being able to chill out after work and just play this game, and then just have some people coming through and being there alongside me. That's kind of the main thing. I think if I could stream anything, what would be like an ideal thing to stream?
Yeah.
What's kind of Have you ever heard of the game DJ Hero?
Oh, come on!
If they made another DJ Hero, I would be streaming that every day. Yep.
Yeah, bro. That was That's that got as big as Guitar Hero at one point, eh? Like that was just mad hype. Yeah.
I don't want to like be that kind of guy, but DJ Hero, I was like top 10 in the world for a long time.
Really?
Yeah. So like that was my thing before fighting games was DJ Hero.
Jesus. Yeah. Okay. And you stream Tekken as well. How are you finding Tekken? Because you can only play Akuma with your Street Fighter skill set.
No way, dude.
I know you play other characters, but just the Street Fighter character Akuma. You've got Akuma in there.
Yeah. I mean, I've been kind of trying to get away from Akuma in recent times. My new main is Noctis. So I've been playing quite a bit of Noctis recently, but of course, when my highest ranked character is Akuma, at some point I was like Ryujin, but I just feel like I play like such an idiot when I play Akuma.
Play like an idiot. Does this have anything to do with you? Like, does this have anything to do with Street Fighter tendencies? The way your mind is when you play Street Fighter compared to, say, Tekken?
I guess so in a way. Like, there's some stuff that carries over from Street Fighter, of course, with Tekken being in 3D and Street Fighter being in 2D. Things are a little bit different, but the way that I can play Akuma is just totally different to the way that I can play any other character in the game. So it's kind of like when I first started playing him, because he was one of the first characters that I wanted to play in Tekken 7, I really enjoyed playing Akuma. Just the creativity and also the way that you can just annoy people. There was a time at Auckland Hambats where there was a guy I was playing who was actually beating me with Yoshimitsu, and then I ended up getting to a point where I was just sitting at the other side of the screen and just throwing fireballs for like the whole game, and he was just like, "Bro, this is Tekken, man. This is Tekken."
Yeah.
And then I'm just laughing. And then I won.
Well, to this day, like a lot of Tekken players still struggle with the 2D uniqueness, I suppose. But obviously, there are players that have overcome it, and there are players that can't. You know, like it's just yeah. You just get used to it over time. I never will though. I think when I played you online at one of the expansion tournaments, your execution had really improved, and you were doing like really strong combos. Not that you weren't before, but just your Akuma scared me. It scared me, man. Oh
man, well, making me feel good, man. Yeah. I don't know. I've been practicing for a while. Like, execution is something I've been really working on over the years. Even like before I was playing Tekken, like my kind of training regime was to try and do all the trials in Street Fighter 4. And of course, because Akuma plays so similarly to Street Fighter 4 Akuma, like the inputs are practically the same, except of course you can't do back one in Street Fighter 4 because it just comes out as a jab. So as my execution in Street Fighter 4 has grown over the years, I think my execution in other games have gotten a lot better. But yeah, just been practicing, I guess.
Oh, and also, well, since we're mentioning Tekken, you've also helped the Rotorua scene. Because I think they've been hosting fighting game events at least, and some other ones as well. Yeah, the Digital Natives Academy. Yeah,
I mean, massive shout out to Rotorua FGC, whether it's the guys from DNA or if it's just Hartivius and Inez, those two kind of like the figureheads of the Rotorua scene. Bro, it's so cool to go down there because they got that same kind of whānau vibe, and even if they're starting off small, they got people turning up. Myself, Majin Buu, As Anything, and Reese have been cool. Went down there end of last year, I think it was, and just played in one of the spaces. I think it's their temporary space because they've just actually opened up a new space down there for DNA. And just cool, man. You just sit there, play all day. They got a feed for everybody, and there's even a little bit of a prize at the end, which was quite cool, and just having that same kind of whānau vibe. So obviously, I feel at home when I'm with them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the first Tekken 7 tournament they ran, you helped with the stream. Do you remember that experience where you had that one person in the chat that was trying to start shit for some reason?
Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah. I was watching it and I was thinking, hey, don't come at my boy like that. Like he wanted to start something but never pay attention to Twitch chat. But yeah, bro, I was thinking, is he just trying to be a dick for no reason?
Of course, it's kind of like for me as well. I play into it a bit too. Like I want to just get involved with that talk a little bit, but it was really annoying. I think it was just like, do you have to come in here and say all this stuff? Like, do you have a life or what is this? Yeah. But that guy, we found each other on PlayStation. I never actually got to play him, but I don't know. I messaged him and said, "Oh, so do you want to first the 5 or what?" And he's like, "Okay." And then we never played. So
typical. Yeah. Nah, never. Don't worry
those
about
guys.
That fool. Yeah, exactly. Well, actually, here's a question. Have you ever had experience with stream snipers or vibe killers? So you're streaming a game, you're trying to enjoy the moment, and you've got someone in the chat just like that dude saying, "Nah, man, like this ain't. You're not fun. You're not funny. You're not whatever."
I definitely I haven't had that experience yet on my own streams, but yeah. I don't know. I've gone in and sniped other people's streams, like my mate Zimbolic. Like I tried to jump on and play ranked with him when he's playing and stuff as well. But never had anybody come into my stream and just start, talking down on what I'm doing or anything like that. I don't think it would be a very nice experience for anybody. But it hasn't happened to me yet, thankfully.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Well, with your Twitch channel, are you hoping to get more growth in that department? You know, because I look at Zimbolic and he's like trying to hit 500 followers, and that's quite a he must be.
Yeah.
He streams every day, which is good. You know.
I know it's crazy.
We need more streamers in the community, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's something where if I had more time, I'd probably stream a lot more. Recently I got to affiliate because I was just kind of trying to stream more often, and I got a few more followers and people watching consistently and that kind of stuff. And that was a really good feeling, just, you know, seeing that people like what I'm doing and knowing that, hey, this might actually be something that works. But I'm so busy.
Yeah.
I just have so much stuff to do.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, who from the Hamilton scene doesn't stream but would be good? Would be a good personality to stream.
From the Hamilton scene.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have said who's someone that doesn't stream but they should.
Okay, let me think. Wait, Majin Buu should stream. He'll be crack up because he's just he's good and he just trolls. I think we have some other we have such really good personalities in Hamilton, just lots of chill people. I think one guy who doesn't stream but would probably be quite hilarious to watch is Amon, Mudmilk Midges he calls himself nowadays.
Okay.
He's a Tekken player and he just says the most random crack up stuff. But yeah, if you ever run across Mudmilk Midges on PSN, yeah, he's an interesting fellow. But I don't know, man. I feel like if we could just have a stream where it was just all Hamilton players playing all day, then that would just be, I don't know, the perfect stream.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Not much else to say, I guess.
So we can go back to Hamilton now, and there was an iconic moment that happened. Yeah, how about I just play that moment instead?
Oh, God.
No, this is the moment that lived in infamy, man. This guy caught red-handed on stream. Reno moving quick, man, he was fast like Quicksilver, man. Jesus.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I don't even really understand what was going on at this point in time. You can see that everybody's just chilling and having a good time and stuff, and then this kid just wanders in. He'd actually come in earlier in the day, and was just, I don't know, maybe scoping out the place, maybe noticed the money jar a little bit earlier. But because of course we're so, I don't know, welcoming in the community, it's just people just wander in, kids wander in all the time, and it was
never give it a second thought. Yeah.
And then he grabs the thing and runs off. He reached behind me and grabbed something. And I thought he was trying to do something to me, so I was a little bit confused. And then I saw Reno get up and sprint out the door.
Man, he was like Quicksilver, man.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, okay, he did that. And then so of course I tried to join in and chase after. There was a few of us running after the kid. At some point I am obviously not the fittest person in the Hamilton FGC, so I ended up running out of breath and falling down at some point in time, and just thought that maybe yelling at him would cause him to stop, but it did not. But yeah, we did end up getting the money back and everything in the end. The kid, we actually somehow, that wasn't me, but I think Reno and Tom found his house or something, and the mum came out and said, "Do you want me to give him a hiding? Because I will." And then stuff was like, "No, you don't have to worry about that." But yeah.
Oh man, that's just. Oh, you should let the mother cane his ass, man.
Possibly, yeah. Or I could have just linked it to the stream so she could watch what happened. But
yeah, I mean, Auckland Hambats, everything's under lock and key. Very lucky that money was in front of that camera, man. Man,
100%.
Far out, yeah. Jesus. I mean, not that it's a lot of money, but that's your hard work. That's your guys' community, that is in that cup. So
everybody in the room had put something into that. So it's for somebody to come and try and take that all away is just, mad disrespectful to begin with, but just sad.
Yeah, nah, my heart goes out to. Yeah, mother should have caned him, man. My heart goes out to Reno. Jesus, yeah, Far out. Like how long did he tail that kid? Like
We were running after him for like maybe 3 minutes. And there was some kids that were outside the building at the time that like tried to stop us and like swung scooters at us or something. And it was like, what the heck?
wow.
But yeah, Reno chased them for ages, but we lost them at some point. He was obviously running for his life. It was looking like a, you ever seen was it Roadrunner? I think it is.
Oh,
the cartoon.
Yep.
Yeah. So that kid was running like that.
Yeah.
And then he dropped the glass with all them, like, he took the money out and threw the glass on the ground. And I think after that we kind of slowed down because we didn't want to, like, cut our feet up or whatever it was. But
Yeah.
we were running for a while.
Jesus, yeah. Well, yeah, we've got your boy Reno here, and you've mentioned that you're friends, longtime friends, but I guess there's a rivalry there too. But yeah, it must be really cool that you guys kind of share that bond between you. You know what I mean? Like you've always got that training partner, you've always got that friend to go to when stuff goes down.
Of course, yeah. Like Reno, my closest friend in the fighting game community. Just obviously he's been there since day one. We're both obviously like kind of low skill Street Fighter players at the time when we first started going to Hambats, and Reno has just gone up and up and up. 3rd place at Nationals last year, winning Sub-Zero Scuffle, the most recent major. He's just got more and more solid, and he puts in so much time and so much effort into getting good at the game. It's insane. Of course, I've been trying to keep myself up there. It's kind of hard when you got a lot of other things going on. But from the most recent Hambats, surprisingly, I beat Rich, and I almost defeated Reno in grand finals. That was a really good feeling. But yeah, he's just kind of one step ahead at me at the moment. But yeah, I love playing against Reno, and just know that when we get to nationals this year, if he doesn't win, I'm going to be surprised, to be honest.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But also, you've also done well. Damager Cup last year, you had a really good match against a strong player. Now I forgot who it was. Was it Big Chopper or was it Sky? It was someone it was a real strong player. And I was rooting for you in that set. But who knocked you out of Damager Cup?
Reno knocked me out of Damager.
Oh no!
But, I played Isaac on stream, and I was doing really well up until that last, obviously, sequence. So Isaac very narrowly defeated me there, which, I mean, it wasn't surprising for me. I think it was more surprising the fact that I got so close to kind of winning the set.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Isaac beat me, and then I actually went on and I beat Lewis K in loser's side, who's like insanely good Fong player, and Fong is like my most hated character in the game, so it was like to win that felt really good, but it wasn't streamed, so I was like, sick. And then obviously Reno came and beat my ass way too hard. So
how does Cammy do? So how does Cammy do in the matchup against Isaac's Rashid and Lewis's Fung?
Cammy Rashid. Honestly, I think Isaac thinks that Cammy beats Rashid. I feel like Rashid beats Cammy, but of course, we're both maining our two characters, so we're probably a bit biased.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I feel like Rashid does have a little bit of an advantage over Cammy. And then Fong actually, Cammy definitely wins that matchup, but it's just such a weird character. Like, you really have to kind of practice against that character to know how to win. I'm just lucky because I have Dan down in Hamilton and he plays Fong. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. But that was a good time. Just, yeah, being in Damager twice and hoping to, I don't know if it's going to happen this year, but hoping to get back in again. I mean, I'm feeling like I'm doing okay this year. So
you've had a big change. Like, you're a teacher now. Was that always the goal after college? To become a teacher?
Yeah, well, it was one of my kind of two goals. So when I was at uni, I studied psychology and English, and my plan with that was either to keep going in one direction and become a clinical psychologist, or go and be an English teacher, which is obviously what I'm doing now. So I'm kind of hoping in the future that I can combine both things and be an English teacher or even a psychology teacher, and like a school counselor or something of that nature, where I can just be there and help people more. So yeah, it was always something that I planned to do. Yeah. Of course, last year I had a bit of a break from university and things like that, where I was working at BNZ, and then I went off on applied for the Teach First program and then got accepted into that. So that obviously set me up and put me back on the academic route, which I am 3 terms and a bit into with teaching. And of course, with COVID, it's made it quite an interesting year, but really enjoying it.
Yeah. What is Teach First like? Is it like Teachers College? Like what is that like for training?
So it's a really interesting setup. It's basically I'm doing a fully funded master's course, so that they like pay for my master's, but I don't go and attend classes or things like that. I just teach. So like we had a little course over the summer where we learned just some fundamentals of teaching, I guess, and just looked into the standards and focused on how we can create change for these young people.
Yeah.
And just Teach First kind of gave us some good skills over the summer, and then day 1, term 1 this year, that was my first time teaching, and that's when it all began, basically. So I am teaching and learning at the same time. I have assessments and stuff that I have to do every so often, which can be a little bit challenging, but yeah, I'm kind of doing okay. Passed my first paper, so
good stuff.
Feels
good
good,
stuff, man.
Yeah.
Congrats. So, like for this Teach First thing, was it you and a select few people? Like, is it a big group that they take, or is it select numbers?
Yeah. So there was a bit of a process I had to go through where it was like I had to fill out a whole bunch of application forms online where I just had to explain why I wanted to be a teacher and how I feel I would benefit from the program and what I would bring to the program and that kind of thing. And I made it past that step and got invited to an assessment centre where there was about 12 of us. And we had to carry out a practice lesson and answer a few interview questions and just kind of, just try and I don't know what is in the word. Just be ourselves and just see what happens, I guess. So I made it through the assessment centre, and after that, I was in the program, and there is 80 of us in the program this year out of a group of 1,000 or so people that applied, because it is getting really popular, this program.
Okay.
A lot of people trying to compete, but they pick obviously people that they think are going to make a difference, and which makes me obviously feel pretty good that I was lucky enough to be selected from that group.
Why the topic English? Why did you want to teach English specifically?
I think English is something that I've just enjoyed for a long time. I mean, if I had a choice, I would have also taught music, because when I first started at uni, I was actually studying to be a music teacher as well. But English is something where I've enjoyed it all throughout school. I really love creative writing and songwriting and just anything to do with expressing my ideas on paper, I guess. And that was the key thing for me, was creative writing. I also really enjoy film study and stuff like that too, so I'm pretty big film buff.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of taking that subject that I was really interested in at high school and just working on that and turning it into something that I could kind of teach and make interesting for more people, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, English is something where you either love it or you hate it. So I've got obviously a few students that hate it. And I got to try and make it really interesting for them. And I think the main thing for me, being a teacher, is great because I just get to, spend time with these young people and hear their stories. And when they come to the classroom and they feel happy and they feel comfortable, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Even if it feels like the stuff that they are learning about is just so boring for them or whatever it might be, just if they're happy, that's the key.
Are there any hardcore gamers in your class? Is there a little bit of you that you see in them? Like, are there a few rebels that stand out?
Yeah. There's a few actually. Onehunga High School actually a strong spot for competitive gamers. If you know Rolfgang, Campbell, Childish Gambino, the Leo player from a couple of years back, he's a streamer now, plays Valorant, all that kind of stuff. He's from Onehunga High School. One Punch Shana, also from Onehunga High School. Trash, if you know him, he's from Onehunga High School as well.
Nice.
And then we've actually got a few students that are still at school who've been going to Auckland Hambats and things like that. So if you've heard of the player Zero Mark, he is one of the students at school, and so he trains with me, and he's really solid. So he came top 8 at Auckland Hambats yesterday.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
good, man.
insanely good. And it's not just him. There's like other Tekken players there and other people that are really keen to get into competitive Tekken. I catch students sometimes watching Tekken videos in class, and I'm like, I like what you're watching, but you shouldn't be doing that.
It's like that's not a match. Let me show you a
yeah,
match.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I see,
But I've
man.
also got a lot of kids that are really keen on like Fortnite and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Valorant
so
and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, on Friday there were some kids in my Year 9 class who decided they wanted to play. It's like a clone of Fortnite called 1v1.lol, and they're trying to play against each other in class. And I come over and say, well you're not meant to be doing that right now. But look, if you don't stop, I'm going to have to get on there and clap you guys. And they're like, oh, come on then, sir, let's go. And then so I'm like, all right. And so this kid that apparently is really, really good sits down and challenges me. And then we have a little 1v1 and I win. And then I just stand up, walk away.
Yeah.
The kids are like, whoa, you
Nice.
just got clapped up by sir. And I'm like, there you go. Now write a report on that.
Yeah. Tell your parents that, and then I'll see them at the next parent-teacher conference.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Exactly. Yeah.
I used, I think, like a lot of us back in school, we remember teachers in training, and there's always, like, the teacher, like, they always have that anchor, that point of contact for help or advice. Do you have that? Is there a teacher that you kind of go to for advice or feedback?
I have mentors in school who are kind of there as part of my program to support me. So, like, my head of department at school is always really supportive and helps me out with everything and that kind of stuff. I also really appreciate the support that I'm getting from StandingFierce and the people who have been teachers who are there as part of the program who are there supporting me. So there's like a guy that I work with quite often who is like the program manager for StandingFierce, and he's been supporting me a lot over the last couple of weeks and just helped me out with my lesson plans and things like that. And just knowing I have that support is really awesome.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can feel a little bit, like the water's kind of getting over your head a little bit, but just having people that are there to help you and making sure that you, like, in any kind of profession or anything that you do, if you ask people for help and support, and they provide you with that, it's just awesome.
Yeah,
it's like makes you feel so much better.
I think it's really cool, like how a lot of schools now, and as you've mentioned, Onehunga High School, a lot of them are encouraging the presence of competitive gaming, being recognized as something more credible. Did you see that Joe Rogan clip that he said about, video games, how they're too dangerous because they're so much fun, but they never get anywhere? Coming from your background now, what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I haven't actually watched the clip in detail, but I've heard people talking about it and just the stuff that he's saying. Of course, the argument around gaming and whether it's kind of appropriate for somebody to do either at a competitive level or just to have as something that they do often. I feel like it's people that don't quite understand the actual the multifaceted nature of gaming that make it harder than it should be. I did a presentation a little while ago to some people at a polytech I was working at, and it was just kind of like, when it comes to gaming and playing it competitively, there is only a select few people that are going to make it to the very top and are going to make a living out of it and that kind of thing. And then, of course, you have these other components like, the FGC and the league community and the other gaming communities that are out there, because there are a lot of them. But it's kind of like there are some people who are going to, get to be the cream of the crop and they're going to make a living out of that. And for people who aren't there, it's making sure that you have some other kind of thing going on in your life, that you're not just sitting there and playing games all day, because there is an addictive component to gaming. There 100% is.
Yeah.
But if you have other things that you're doing, like you're out there, you're exercising, or you've got another hobby that you're spending a lot of time doing as well, making sure that there's a balance there is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Of course, that can be quite hard for some people to find other stuff that they can really feel like they can invest themselves in. But for somebody to kind of say that it's something that you shouldn't pursue is wrong. I think anybody should be able to give gaming a go.
Yeah, I think his whole thing is that games are fun, but they can be disastrous because they lead nowhere.
Yeah.
That you can lose yourself in the fantasy that gaming is okay, that it solves everything. So what would your approach be to someone, a student, who has that mindset who lives off in that illusion.
I feel like for a student, if that's the thing that they believe that it's like, gaming's their whole life or that kind of thing, it's not necessarily going there and stopping them in their tracks and saying, no, this is not going to be a reality for you, but just making sure they're aware of what, what could happen next for them and helping them realize other skills that can come from gaming. Like, if I think about myself, how from gaming I've been able to get involved in event management and I've made a lot of new friends in the FGC and I've built up a social presence and that kind of stuff. There are benefits to it. And so if a kid or a young person or anybody who gets involved can understand that they kind of should be looking for benefits within that, that kind of scene, I guess hopefully I'm on the right track with this, but if they can find things that are going to benefit them in other aspects of their life, then that's the main kind of thing they should be looking for. And if that's becoming harder and harder to do, then they need to be considering some other option, because if it becomes something where all you think about is just going home and playing games and there's no actual real other side to it, then yeah, that's just going to be way too dangerous. Yeah,
it's just like, I think even a few of our guys from the scene were erupting on Twitter, but I think we come from a different standpoint, because like it's the NZFGC for us. Like, it's a lifestyle, it's not an obsession. But try to explain that to normal guys and girls, they'd be like, you are obsessed. You play on this game like 3 or 4 hours a night. But it's like, how is that different to any other hobby that you do?
Exactly.
They're putting the same hours. It's like, how do you justify that reasoning? Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same as people that, I don't know, go to the gym for 4 hours every night or play rugby every weekend or something like that. It's the same thing for people that play games or people that do some other kind of hobby where they might spend a lot of time inside, but they're still, their brains are active and they're doing something that is really productive.
Yeah,
people might not see it as productive, but it is.
Yeah, and for us, our scene, there's definitely a social aspect. Like, it's not just us in a room somewhere. Like, we know people, we want to hang out and do stuff together.
Yeah. And that's kind of a thing that some people aren't super aware of about the fighting game community, or just with some other gaming communities, it's not really like that. So I feel like the FGC is in a really positive space where people who get involved with the FGC are there to, learn and get better at the games, and they make friends with other people, and it becomes a really, really positive experience for anybody who just even wanders in just randomly or is just curious. It just becomes more and more positive over time.
Well, No, you go, man. You go.
We have obviously some toxic people out there, but it's 99% positive, 1% toxic.
Yeah. Well, I've asked this to Reno. How do you feel that the major for this year is going to be in Hamilton, your home turf?
So good, man. Oh my gosh. When Dan shared with me that we're going to be having war in Hamilton, and I had to not tell people, I'm trying so hard to not tell people that we've got Nats in Hamilton this year. It's awesome. Obviously, it's going to run in a really interesting way. I'm not obviously completely certain on what exactly I'll be doing at the event, or how much StandingFierce is going to be running everything, or if Dan's going to still be doing all the same stuff that he did for war, and getting all that kind of venue set up and et cetera going on. But just knowing that we've got it in Hamilton, and we're going to be bringing more people down to experience our scene and our kind of unique culture is amazing.
Yeah, and interesting choice of venue. It's not what we're used to. It's not a hotel. It's not a convention center. It's a theater. It's like a theater space.
It is. Yeah. So this is where War was held last year, and so of course War would have been held here this year as well. Really awesome space. Did you come to War last year, Drex?
Nah, I missed it, bro. Yeah, but now that you say that it was the previous War, I can see that now because I have seen the stream. So
yeah. Oh, but it's like this big, massive room, and there was just setups everywhere, and people were coming in and jamming, just basically from start to finish. It's just a really nice spot, and people can wander out, and there's a countdown like just across the road, so they can go and grab something to eat or a drink or something like that. And we're right next to the river, so if you want to wander down and like go take a walk and just chill out for a bit, if you had a tent set, or if you just like get sick of being inside for a little bit, you've got that.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm really impressed with the space, and of course, Dan is really impressed with the space, and of course that's why he's going for it again. So, yeah.
I know Reno said that, like, to come to Hamilton, I need to check out Spicy House for the spicy noodles, pork intestine, and duck blood. What's your hotspot for food in Hamilton?
In Hamilton, this is going to show how much of a guts I am, but that place Eat Burger, where they have it in Sky City that I was talking about earlier with the first war, that is really good. The burgers there are so good, man. Like, it's a little bit expensive, at least when you're on a student budget, but just like getting a burger from there, they've got like this sauce in it, and some other stuff, and it's like more of this homegrown style, but it's different to like any other kind of, I don't know, burger place that I've gone to.
Yeah.
Besides that, little sushi spots. There's a little sushi place. They're not open all the time, but it's just across the road from the from Waikato Uni. Me and my wife used to go there pretty often. It's called Kiss Sushi or Kiso Sushi. They do these mean as they're like little sushi burgers. It's like rice and katsu chicken in the middle and lettuce, and they're like $3.50. Just get a couple of those.
That sounds good and healthy as well.
Yeah. Much healthier than an Eat Burger.
Okay.
Yeah.
So heading into nationals this year, what's going to be your approach?
Okay. It's a very busy term at school, so we're gonna try and fit in practice when I've got time. Of course, focusing on other stuff like making sure that I've got my lesson plans all done and that I'm getting all my marking done. Of course, before I was doing the podcast with you now, I was getting a bit of marking done for my students, so they're finishing a couple of different little assignments. So after we got through all of that, making sure that I'm putting practice in for the games that I compete in, whether it's Street Fighter 5, of course, my main game, Tekken 7. Will I enter anything else? Of course, I'm a player who likes to play every different fighting game, but I'm just kind of not sure if I'm going to enter everything this year.
Yeah.
But I think it's just getting in practice, just having fun with the games rather than dedicating all this time to, I don't know, playing on ranked or something where I end up getting tilted because I start losing or some other problem happens. Just having fun with the game. And just learning as much as I can and playing as much as I can with players like Reno and Rich and people like that.
Yeah.
And then when I get to Nats, just giving it my all and focusing and just thinking to myself that, you know, if I really try, if I really believe in myself, then I can do it.
Because I said that to Reno, and I'm going to say it to you. You know, that's what you boys want, is that you want one of your Hamilton boys to take it out or go as far as you can go. Is there someone that you have to? Is there an obstacle? Is there a certain player you definitely want to face at nationals?
Player that I want to face at nationals. I guess across the games, like in Street Fighter 5 War last year, I played Ghost Ships quite early into the bracket, and it was 2-1. So I got a game off Ghost Ships. I feel like there was just something more. I mean, that mental block of saying this is the best player in New Zealand was stopping me from taking it out. But I feel like if I get the chance to play against Ghost Ships again, then maybe I can win. I don't want to say it now and jinx myself, but I want to play Ghost Ships again, and I want to try and do it. I'm sure Reno wants the same thing. He wants to beat Ghost Ships because obviously that's been an obstacle for him as well. But playing against him in Street Fighter would be a goal. I can't really think of other people. If I get to play Zazob and if he's playing Cammy, because of course he changes characters over time. Like, I want to be known as the best Cammy.
You want to be the Cammy, yeah.
I want to be the Cammy.
No, I see.
Like, I'm kind of getting there. I'm not a player who really spends a lot of time putting in the technical work and thinking about the frames and things like that. So it makes it a little bit more difficult for me. But I want to be the Cammy. for Tekken, I think it's difficult because there are so many good players out there. Like we have really talented Tekken players here. Not to say that we don't have talented players in Street Fighter, but just Tekken, we just have so many good people. I guess if I could play someone in particular, who would it be? Yeah. I like to play with someone like Shredder Anas from Christchurch. Hopefully he can make it up.
Yeah.
Because he's really strong, and I practice with him a little bit on PSN. So I think playing him in bracket and just actually, going hard and trying to win. I think he might be a player that I'd really like to play against. Besides that, not to troll, but I think if Ultra Ojeda comes down, I want to get that rematch with Ultra Ojeda.
Are you really going to will that into existence, man?
Yeah, I want to play Ultra Ojeda. Hey,
Okay.
You know what? He's been playing Tekken 7. He hits me up quite often. He said he's going to actually... I think he's thinking about going to a tournament.
Yeah, no, great. Like, good.
Yeah.
That's what we want, man.
So he's like... he hits me up quite often, actually. So I think he's become much more positive in recent times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if he keeps playing... He was telling me he's got the world record in Killer Instinct 2 or something like that. So good on that guy.
Good on that guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you did something really cool. You co-streamed the reveal, the summer update for Capcom. You co-streamed the announcement on your Twitch channel. So I'm going to play the key moments from your stream, and you can just comment on them as they pop up. So obviously, the first one, a lot of players were surprised, was Dan Hibiki.
I was like, what? I was so surprised because, of course, there was this leak list that that everybody was going off, where it was like Rose, Oro, who did get revealed, and then Sea Viper, Elena, Rolento. So it was like, okay, so I'm expecting these guys to turn up. But Dan, who's like the joke character from Street Fighter 4 and from other games, the joke guy being brought back to the game, was like, are you serious? So that's what I was saying. I was like, is this a joke? Like, are they just like trolling us with this like gameplay footage that they're showing? Like, is this just kind of some kind of elaborate ruse that they're putting us through? But no, so Dan's coming back to the game, which really I think is actually going to be quite cool. It looks like he's got some quite stuff that would fit me as a player, where you can like cancel stuff into taunts and like attack people with them. So that's actually quite cool. Yeah.
Yeah, the Street Fighter League. No surprise there.
So that's pretty good.
Yeah. Do you watch any of the? Do you watch Street Fighter League at all?
I haven't really kept up to date with it too much. I watch it a little bit when Punk is on there, because Punk is a player that I really like. So when he's playing, I often try to tune in and watch that.
Yeah.
But I haven't really spent a whole lot of time watching Street Fighter League. I think it's kind of like when a tournament or Street Fighter League or something like that pops up, and I'm not doing anything else, then I start watching. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, this was at like 5 in the morning, eh?
Yeah. Yeah. It was.
Like, you're excited, but you could tell your body's like still trying to catch up, eh?
I'm like mad tired.
Yeah. So how did you get the all go for the co-stream? Did you just have to send an email or something?
Yeah, something popped up on Twitter where they said, hey, we're taking applications for co-streamers for the event. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll give it a jam. I know I'm not incredibly popular on Twitch, but we'll try it out and see what happens. And then they accepted it, and I was like, oh, sick. So like, I've got the all go to stream any other like Capcom, like anything that they stream on Capcom Fighters, I can stream too. So if they show like another big tournament, I'm allowed to stream that on my channel as well.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
It's quite cool. It means that I can keep streaming stuff, and even if people from like the community decide to go watch the official stream or something like that instead, that's all cool. But it just means that if people want to get hype with somebody that is really hype about Street Fighter and wants to support the scene for that game, then of course they can jump through and hang out with me.
Oh no, that's cool, man. Well,
Yeah.
next is I mean, it's not really a big thing, but those shirts, King
Yeah,
Megas
yeah.
popping on.
I'm not really somebody who buys a lot of kind of like
merch and stuff.
merch for stuff.
Yeah.
I buy some band merch sometimes, but that's probably as much as I do. But the shirts do look cool. I think if they had like a hoodie or something, I'd probably be a lot more keen. But I really like that design. The design that they were showing there was really interesting to me. Oh yeah, we've got the
another
Rose
good one.
reveal now. I was getting trolled here. I was like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
So I could not spot the Rose. Looking back at it now, this is like a psychological thing, but when you watch it again after you've been shown something, it's like it's so obvious that
You can't unsee it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I was like, dang man, I was like, what is the character gonna be? I thought it was Oni at some point. I don't even think that the hints had anything to do with him, but it was like he put his hands on the statue, and I was like, what the heck? Why would they put him in the game? But yeah, so Rose, I'm actually pretty hyped for Rose. I wanted to play her back when they put Manas into the game. So yeah, Rose will be really exciting. So yeah.
Yeah.
These all four of the characters, honestly, I think were really interesting choices.
Yeah. Manat's Master,
Yep.
uses Soul Power, and they did say that they were going to try and maybe add some changes or some unique moves to her. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
New moves
They
to make
do
her
it
interesting.
with every Street Fighter V character, whether it's an old character, they change them in some way, shape, or form. Which some people really hate, but I think it's cool. It just means that you have a different perspective when you play these different characters. This guy Oro, I wanted to play for a long time. He's such a weird character from Street Fighter 3. So yeah, seeing that he got announced and that he is coming to the game is pretty awesome. He's like a charge character, so he's not somebody that I probably will play a lot of. In a competitive sense, I probably would not play Oro, but just to play for fun, I think I'd play him quite a bit.
And his arm, because he fights one-handed, but his second arm is magically binded, but he can fight with his second arm if he wanted to, right?
The plan is for Oro in this game to actually have his arm out at all times, but to be holding a turtle. So his whole thing is that he's got to balance this turtle on his hand the whole match.
Wow.
So he's obviously like extremely strong. So that's why he only fights with one hand. But yeah, so he's gonna try hold a turtle the whole time. I don't know how that's gonna play into the kind of game plan at all, but yeah.
Yeah, he's got that telekinetic ability, that little green fireball thing, and he's got a double jump too. Yeah, how he's going to be rendered into this version of Street Fighter.
It'll be interesting for sure.
Okay, the big one. Yep.
The big one, I was like, whoa, that is sick. Like, Rival Schools is such a fun game, and seeing Akira coming back is like, yo, she's gonna have such a like unique playstyle. I feel like she almost looks like if I see her in Street Fighter 5 and she plays the way that I think she's gonna play, then I'll play her a lot.
Yeah.
Like I would play her competitively, but we've got to wait and see. There's such a while away. That was the thing you'll probably notice later is that when I see the times that the characters are coming out, I'm like, oh, what?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, for casual people who don't know, like this is a really cool thing. This is a special deal because this is a character that exists in the Street Fighter universe, not tied specifically to the game, but they're bringing her over.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think just it's really cool for people who want to have another Rival Schools game coming out as well, but kind of maybe gives some people hope that might be coming soon, because I feel like that would be hype if that happened. But just reinstills that hype about that old game. I've played Rival Schools a little bit with some of the guys down in Hamilton, and it's pretty fun. I don't know if you've played it, Drax, but
No, I haven't. Were you excited that it was Akira? You didn't want someone else?
I think in terms of characters from the game, if it was going to be anybody else, I thought it might have been like Batsu, who's like one of the main guys in the game. But yeah, Akira, I think I just liked the aesthetic of Akira, so I was just like, yo, let's go. But I think if it was anybody else, I probably would have still been like, oh, sick, from Rival Schools. So it was kind of like either way was hype.
No, definitely, man. Okay, well, here's a guess. Who do you think is the fifth character? Because they never gave anything.
Fifth character. I think it is going to be. It's probably going to be like Sea Viper. I feel like it's going to be her because she's in the story and stuff. So it kind of makes sense for her to be in the game.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are asking for someone like Makoto from Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter 4, and I think if she got in, people would go insane. But one thing that people have pointed out is that the fifth character only has 3 costumes, and normally if they don't have many costumes, it means they're a male character.
They're a male.
So it wouldn't be Sea Viper or Makoto, so it'll be interesting to see who that is.
Okay.
But we're not going to find out for a long time.
Yeah. Do you find that because we all thought, because with Gil and Seth, that kind of those would have been the characters to end Street Fighter V. So now that there's been this new array of characters, and you saw the footage, like Dan is still a work in progress. Do you feel like this was just decided or worked on, like not too long ago, or do you?
I feel like I read into rumors and stuff a bit too much. So it's like apparently, I think in the official statement they made when they announced Season 5, they said it was in response to the fact that there was a really positive reception for Season 4 or something like that. That they weren't originally going to do a Season 5, but that's what happened. Some of the leakers that I've seen on Twitter and stuff have been saying that apparently Rose and Oro and stuff have been in the game for ages. So hidden in the data files.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like, oh, okay. So they would have been in development for a while, but it doesn't seem like it's actually that way. And then somebody said in another article that I read that they were going to release Street Fighter 6 next year, but because of COVID, they decided, oh no, we'll just do another season for Street Fighter 5 instead. So yeah.
So with this summer update, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being absolutely weak and 10 being excellent, how did the actual announcements rate on a scale of 1 to 10, and then the character lineup on a scale of 1 to 10?
The announcement side of things, I feel like I had really different expectations for the event going into it, but maybe I don't know what it was, but I think the announcement side of things was only like maybe a 5 out of 10. The way that it was done, I think it was because there wasn't really much gameplay or proper build up to anything. It was just kind of like, hey, there's some people talking, and then they say, oh, this character's coming. It's like, oh, cool. But I guess we can't really expect that they're going to have full character trailers and stuff if they've only just started working on this. So it's not like it's their fault or anything. Just I think the way they went about it was just not really the right way, I guess. But the character lineup is great. I'd give that probably a 9 out of 10, depending on how the characters play. Yeah.
No, good stuff, man. Well, who are you going to be jamming first from the lineup? I mean, obviously, it could be Dan first, but out of those characters, who are you excited for the most?
The most out of those 4 is Akira.
Yeah.
And then Rose, then Oro, then Dan. And because I'm already quite hype about Dan, that means that all 4 of the characters I'm actually pretty excited about.
Do you have any thoughts about Ono being relieved from his position, being in charge of the Capcom fighting game division? Because that was kind of a big decision that just kind of happened, but there was no formal address to it.
I guess there's not much that I have to say about that because I'm not there at the studio, but it's kind of like Ono has made really good decisions in the past, and then there's some decisions that he made that haven't been that great. So it is kind of sad, I guess, because he's the person that we know so well. But I guess as we get to know the newer producers for the game and that kind of thing, that we'll get over it. But I do hope that Ono stays kind of involved in all of the stuff that is going on with Street Fighter, because he's a face that everybody knows.
Yeah. I mean, his role now is the executive producer of the esports scene, and you're right. The best thing now is that he's going to be more visible at events and at tournaments, and that's kind of what we want, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like we
So
could
it's gonna
have?
be good.
Do you feel like we could have more announcements and reveals like this? Like we appreciate. Like, do you feel like developers should do these kind of events, streamed events?
I feel like, yeah, I feel like if developers have stuff that they're going to announce in this kind of state of the world that, of course, we've never been in before, there's not really too many other kind of options. But announcing stuff, no matter when it happens or where it happens, the scene is going to appreciate it and going to get hype about it. But I think announcing stuff kind of quickly, not to say that they should rush into announcements, but announcing stuff faster always seems to work better, at least in my opinion. But of course, we had the other announcement recently, which was the Tekken 7 Season 4, and that was like, I was waiting all day to watch that stream, and then the stream started and they said, oh, the announcements are in an hour, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, please announce it now.
Yeah.
And it was like, when you like know that something's going to happen, you just get more and more and more like, please just let me see this now. So they know what they're doing. They're hyping people up really well. So yeah, I think they should do more stuff like that. I definitely do.
Yeah. Well, with that, man, we'll get to the final questions. All right. So you're good.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, all good, all good.
Okay, sweet. So first one, what's your favorite Maori myth or legend?
Ooh. Okay, look, this might sound basic, but it's like Maui and the sun. Just how he went up there and he chucked his rope and everything over the sun and pulled it down. I always thought that was solid. There's also a really good video on Facebook from a guy called DJ Spell, where he does a voiceover for Maui and the sun. It's the most crack up video ever, man. So look that up when you got time. But yeah, Maui and the sun. I'll go with that.
Nah, good man. Yeah, I will do that. All right, next one. Throughout all Street Fighter V seasons, which has had the strongest Cammy and why?
Season 2 Cammy, because she, her V reversal was stronger. Her pressure was a lot like her pressure is really good, but it was way better then. And I think it was just the fact that like in season 2, the kind of damage output for all the characters was higher, and it just made Cammy like she was like top tier in season 2. Yeah.
Okay. That's sweet, bro. All right. Dunkin' Donuts or Krispy Kreme?
I am going to go with Krispy Kreme. I feel like Krispy Kreme's got more of those like original styles. There's like a Nutella one that they've got out at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good stuff.
Nice. All right. Name 3 key rivalries in FGC history.
Ooh, rivalries in FGC history. We have got. Sorry, I'm gonna have to think about this for a little bit.
That's okay.
3 key rivalries. Dude, I feel like I have got them in my head, but I'm trying to access that part of my brain where I can say them.
Do you want me to? Do you want me to help you out a little bit?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Come on, you've got the iconic Eva Moment 37. So you.
You want to think like worldwide, not just NZFGC.
If you want to go NZFGC, that's fine. Whatever you. Yeah. Just any
Worldwide.
3 key rivalries. Yeah.
Oh, Daigo versus Tokido, is definitely a big one. Knee versus Arslan Ash, 100%.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, we can pick. Oh yeah, Sonic Fox versus Perfect Legend. Like,
no,
that's
those are
hilarious.
Those are 3 strong ones. Nice.
Yeah.
Picks. Man, all right. What's your dream car?
Ooh. What's that? The song with, I think it's Eminem song, Smack That, and it's Lamborghini Gallardo. That's my dream car. Yeah. Red one.
All right, bro. By your knowledge, has anyone ever participated in a Hambats and never paid?
Yes. I'm not gonna call them out.
No, I'm just surprised you answered that quickly. Jesus.
Yeah, because I know, because it happened last time. Like people,
Oh.
because it's not something that I like, chase people up about, but
Yeah.
it's just something where I give them a friendly reminder the next time, like, hey, we didn't get any money from you. Making sure you do it this time. That kind of thing.
Pay
But,
the entry fee, man. Come on. What's the love song you'll play to your wife to make her feel joyful?
Oh, hey, there's some actually really good ones. The song that we played at our wedding was "Perfect" by Ed Sheeran. So of course that's a good song to pick because we had it at a wedding day. But there's a song that we were listening to. Well, she was listening to at the time that we got together, which is it's called "Sugar" by Tara Jr. So if I play that song, then it takes us back to when we first got together, which is quite cool.
That's lovely, man. Oh, that's cool. Which one of the 7 dwarves describes your Teo mentality? Doc, grumpy, happy, sleepy, bashful, sneezy, or dopey?
I guess I would go with Doc. Because I'm just trying to keep everybody satisfied and making sure everybody's doing all right and that kind of thing. So, Doc, I guess.
Yeah, I mean you're a pretty chill Teo, you know.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is staying in school still a relevant term to achieving success?
Now, this is a really good question because staying in school is something where for some people it's not actually going to be an option that is going to work for them the best. Because staying in school is definitely something that people should do to make sure they get all the skills that they need to move on to other things that they want to achieve later. But I guess staying in school up until a point where you have all the skills that you need to move forward and succeed would be the key thing there.
No, nice, man. And who is your waifu, Arahshii?
Well, of course, I have my real waifu.
Your beloved?
But yep, I do. But if I had to think of somebody from a game, I guess it might be like Ayane from Dead or Alive.
Yeah, man, purple hair. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, sweet. What? Just because she is it the hair? Is it because she's a ninja?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, like back when I was a little weeb teenager, and ninjas were so hype for me, like that. Of course, just ninjas. Purple hair, also very nice.
Nah, sweet, man. Well, hey, thanks again, bro. No, this was fun, man. Yeah. Any last words or shout outs?
Cheers, man. Just thank you for having me on. I appreciate it, and also like well done on getting to episode 50. It's a series that we love here in New Zealand, and keep it up. That's the main thing. I guess with shout outs, obviously shout out to Hamilton FGC. Shout out to my whānau and my mates from back home in the 764 in Taranaki, and shout out to my wife.
Awesome.
Jenny.
Sweet. Well, take care.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Welcome.